And after a rocky start to the day weather-wise, it's looking pretty good out there right now. A look at the Houston skyline. Feels like it's been days, though, since we've seen the sun.
Yeah, it's nice to see, but we are still in hurricane season. And Pat, you were talking about activity in the tropics.
Yeah, so we do have that new system in the Caribbean, new as of a few days ago, but the track now is bringing it towards our area. The good news, though, by the time it gets here, it'll be raining with a name, if it even holds together. Here to look at the latest on what is Tropical Storm Rafael. As of the 3 p.m. update, winds at 70 miles per hour, so just below hurricane strength, moving northwest now at 15 miles per hour. Here's the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. Becomes a hurricane sometime this evening into the overnight. I mean, we're pretty much on the doorstep of hurricane status. Makes landfall across western Cuba, then emerges into the Gulf of Mexico, still as a Category 1 hurricane, but watch what happens. Takes more of a westward track, still maintains hurricane status until we get to Saturday. And that's when our envelope of possibilities really starts to go to open up. We go from a narrow cone here to a much wider range of options. The good news, though, is that even though we aren't fully certain on where the storm ends up, the forecast for the system weakening has remained very consistent. By the time we get to a potential landfall sometime maybe Sunday or maybe even into Monday, we're talking about a pretty weak tropical storm with winds at 45 miles per hour. What is weakening this system? It has to do with the jet stream, which in the fall and the winter months is typically very far south. The reason for that, we start to get more cold fronts across the area. We start to get more intrusions of cooler air. And so that wind energy in the upper atmosphere, the jet stream, is a lot farther south. And that wind energy is going to help to shred this thing and weaken it substantially on approach to the northern Gulf Coast. So here's how future track looks. Again, the storm tracking towards the west. This is the European computer model. Once it starts to interact with the jet stream, which again is carrying a cold front through the state, it'll start to take that northward turn. But watch how much it weakens, pretty much falling apart in this simulation. So the front is going to play a huge role in where Rafael goes and also how strong it is as it moves closer to land. Right now outside, quiet conditions. You saw on the camera shot, it's beautiful outside. The front from this morning now well off towards the east. Any thunderstorms going out towards Louisiana, and we are going to be quiet here getting into the overnight. Numbers took a hit. 68 right now in Huntsville, 71 Conroe, 73 Brenham, still around 80 at both airports, then mid to upper 70s down towards the coast, but it feels a lot better. Dew points in the 50s, a mark of very dry air. The only places still hanging on to humidity are from Mont Bellevue going east on I-10 out towards Beaumont. So as we take you through the rest of this evening, no weather alerts. We've got clear conditions, dry conditions as well, temperatures in the 70s, but eventually dropping back into the 60s by the time the sun goes down later this evening. 9, 10, 11 o'clock will be in the mid 60s for your temperatures. So a few clouds for this evening and a bit cooler into the overnight. Tomorrow, partly sunny, finally dry. And then as we get you into the day on Thursday, we do see maybe a couple more clouds, but all in all, it's a pretty quiet pattern to wrap up the week. Humidity goes down, but it does come back eventually. Kind of a roller coaster with humidity as a few systems try to push their way through the area. So on Future Track, you can see not much to talk about the next few days. There's your 7-day forecast. Mainly dry conditions, but it is going to be warm in the mid 80s here all the way through Friday. 80 degrees then with an isolated storm chance on Saturday, and then smooth sailing but staying warm into the first half of next week.